All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth with Ben Jokes. Now, all those who attended the ceremony of Pope Leo XIV have returned to their various countries, but nobody knows where Tinubu is. Perhaps he has gone to France to recharge his battery. Goes to show how irresponsible APC members are. There was a time under Buhari where his whereabouts was unknown for about a month or more. Tinubu hasn't disappeared for that long yet, but I know he will most likely do something like that within his tenure. And it is all because they don't know what it means to occupy Aso Rock. When you occupy Aso Rock, you are a public property. So your movements and activities must be documented and made known to the general public. But when you have a man who doesn't even know his parents or hometown, he doesn't know where he came from, you can't expect transparency, let alone competence in public office. That is why the country is burning, and Tinubu and his cohorts are only concerned about 2027. And few hours ago, a report began making the rounds. This report generated a lot of uproar in the media. The report claimed that Peter Obi had accepted to be Atiku's running mate in the 2027 elections. And of course, thousands of Nigerians began reacting with diverse opinions to that report. But Obedient maintained that Peter Obi would not take such a decision without consulting the movement first. And before we could say Jack, Obi responded to that report in a video that has now gone viral, and that excellent response from Peter Obi has taken over headlines in the media. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. This one is from the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Olisa Agbakoba. See the video.
Do you think that the original president, President Bola Tinubu, has the political will or could do what you have described now?
I don't see why not. Bola Tinubu is a great friend of mine, and we used to talk very much in the democracy during the struggle. And I don't see what's holding him, honestly. I think he has the will and the capacity to carve his name in history. There is not President Tinubu reducing his powers and strengthening the states and the local governments will not make him less President Tinubu. It will make him more effective. You know what I always tell people who are my friends in politics? I say, you guys spend too much politicking. Every night you are cavorting in rooms and all that. But there's something very simple you can do. Win the hearts and minds of people. It's the easiest way. Win people by being good. Deliver schools, deliver hospitals, deliver good jobs. They will not forget you. They will in fact line up and vote for you because you are the man who did not ask anything from them. But if you think you can keep buying, because you know the game of Nigerian politics is to buy the votes and to read. You know that. That's why every time we are over clogging the courts with petitions. Why can't politicians, and for the life of me, I don't understand it. I am a political leader. God has allowed me the opportunity to govern people. I will do good by them. That's how they will love me. That's the reason they will come back and say, we want you to continue. That's the easiest way to get into government and to continue for the 8 years that you are there. Why would you, when you are elected, not do anything? Well, it beats me. It beats me. I don't understand it. Why come to office in the first place?
Yeah. Let me allow you. You said the president is a very good friend. He's getting into his second year of his reign as president. And if you are to tell him something tonight about the way our country is, and you have said earlier today that we urgently need to take action for our country to move forward. Let's assume Mr. President Bola Tinubu is watching you tonight. What would you be telling him right now?
Yes. But I've told him.
What did you tell him?
I told him Nigeria's constitution needs to be reviewed, reworked, remodeled, and designed in a way to suit our democracy and our people, number one. Two, I've told him that we should practice what I call economic nationalism. Money is in the hands of too few people. I don't want to go into the issue of what happens in our oil governance because nobody will believe it. So I'll just leave that one. But when money in Nigeria is in the hands of too few, there's a problem. Let's have a system to distribute wealth equitably, maybe not equally, equitably. Let everybody feel the impact of government. That's what I will tell him. And that's what I told him. I gave him 10 points. 10 points.
But what was his response?
I will call you.
Did he say that he was going to do any of those things you told him?
He said that he will call me. I'm waiting for the call. I'm waiting for the call.
How long was this? How long was this?
Tinubu, this was actually at Babio's birthday celebration in Abuja where I gave the keynote speech. And I gave them 10 points.
You saw that. Olisa Agbakoba there cannot believe why politicians will not just do the right thing. They will rather share billions amongst just 2 or 3 persons to help them rig election than use far less of that amount to better the lot of the general public. And he said he gave Tinubu 10 points to implement that will make Nigeria great. And Tinubu said he would call him. He hasn't still heard from him. And the reason is simple. He has no intention of implementing even 1 point to make Nigeria great, let alone 10. You know, earlier today I was talking about what Tinubu can do to wash his dirty image. My suggestion was him stepping down for Peter Obi or conducting a free and fair election for the first time in his life, knowing fully well that he will lose. And Olisa Agbakoba here is also talking about what Tinubu can do to wash his dirty image. But he is suggesting that Tinubu should start governing well. But for some reasons, I want to believe that it is impossible for Tinubu to govern well. For him to fix the health sector, fix education, create jobs, stop oil theft, make refineries work so that the price of fuel will drop, make Nigerians happy, I don't think Tinubu will ever do that. I believe he has a mandate to make Nigerians suffer. Sincerely, I'm not just saying this as rhetorics. I sincerely believe that these men are working for Satan and nothing godly can come out of them. Tinubu and the other APC members are working for Lucifer, in my own opinion. That is why they just won't do anything good for the people. You may say it is just politics and human greed, but sincerely, I believe that this has gone beyond that. I believe that these men are agents of Satan. Now, let us get to the top stories. A report came out saying Obi had agreed to deputize Atiku in 2027, and this report, which is most probably a trick from Atiku's camp, drew heavy reactions. But Obi came out and took over the headlines with a brilliant response in a video. Let's start by taking that report from Atiku's camp. Look at how the papers reported it. Atiku offers Peter Obi VP slot, pledges one-term presidency in 2027 coalition bid, Sahara reporters. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has reportedly offered Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi the vice presidential slot in a proposed single-term coalition ticket ahead of the 2027 general elections. According to the Punch, the offer was made during a private meeting between Atiku and Obi in the United Kingdom earlier this year. Atiku is said to have assured Obi that he would serve only 1 term and hand over power afterwards. Atiku and Obi met earlier this year in the UK. That was where Atiku first mooted the idea of a coalition and urged Obi to be his running mate. Obi then asked for time to think it over and consult his loyalists, one source revealed. Another insider confirmed, but recent developments show that Obi has accepted to be Atiku's running mate, and Atiku has also agreed to serve a single 4-year term and hand over to the former Anambra State governor. They have both agreed to sign a written agreement if necessary. Obi is trying to get the buy-in of his loyalists before this is formally announced. Well-crafted propaganda, beautiful lies, Atiku's camp trying to work on the minds of people, trying to get people to say, oh, that's a good combination, that will be a good combination, let's work on it to defeat Tinubu. Then if Peter Obi decides to say no, he will now be labeled as selfish. That's what they are trying to push to the media. If Atiku will not honorably step down, then let him not tell lies against Obi. He can go ahead and try to convince him. I'm not saying he should not speak to Peter Obi. You can go ahead and talk to him and say, come and be my running mate, even though I don't expect Obi to agree, because by popular votes, he won the 2023 presidential election. So what he should be thinking about is, what can I do to make sure that I don't lose my mandate next time? Not going to be a deputy to somebody that you have already defeated. It doesn't make any sense. But if Atiku wants to still speak to Obi, he should go and speak to him privately. But to try to use the media to work on people's minds is very wrong. But of course, Obi came out quickly, swiftly, and responded excellently in this video. Check it out.
We saw the photograph of yourself and the president. Of course, online people thought that otherwise maybe they expected that you were in Rome. We saw the photograph of yourself and the president. Of course, online people thought that otherwise maybe they expected that you and the president are fighting. But then you go to him and the things, there is this...
I and the president is not fighting.
Okay.
I'm not fighting anybody.
Yes.
My fight is against bad governance, against hunger, against poverty, against out-of-school children, against people not having health services. This country have less than 10% insurance care, health insurance. Should be 100%. These teachers teaching here should be paid by government because it's universal basic education. The law says here that our children should go to school free. So what my Lord is doing is helping government. Government should help him.
Okay,
That's what I did in Anambra State. I'm in coalition against hunger, in coalition against poverty, in coalition against good health. Politics for me is not about position. It is about doing the right thing.
But is that a report true, sir?
Whatever you make of it, I can tell you, I, Peter, have told you where I stand. I just came back this morning. I didn't go talk about politics. I'm talking about the education of these children. You don't deal with politicians. I don't fight. I'm not talking about position. In this country, we talk about politics and abandon what we should be talking about. What we should be talking about is how are we going to educate these children.
You heard that. Obi said he's in coalition with trying to get the people out of poverty. He is in coalition with what we can do to reduce the number of out-of-school children. He is in coalition with what we can do to reduce the rate of unemployment in Nigeria. And isn't that just amazing? That's why Tinubu is busy bribing governors for 2027, touring the world all around. Peter Obi is governing Nigeria, tending to problems of education, of IDPs. This is amazing. Now, this update of Peter Obi agreeing to deputize Atiku, I know it came out of Atiku's camp. Obi gladly deputized Atiku in 2019. But in 2023 and beyond, Obi has clearly proved that he is the most genuinely loved politician in Nigeria. The people have bought into his ideas and his vision for this country. So he doesn't need to deputize anyone. When Peter Obi says he is not desperate for power, what he means is that he will not accept any meaningless plan just to grab power. I don't know if Obi is going to agree to deputize Atiku tomorrow, but as of today, he is saying clearly that he is not part of such agreement, and I support him because he, by credentials, is the most qualified to lead any coalition in Nigeria today. He joined Labour Party few months to the 2023 presidential election and he made history. Atiku has lost to almost 4 candidates now or more. He is above 70 years old. At what point is this man going to quit honorably? This is desperation at its peak. If Atiku's desire is to see Nigeria fixed, there is an Obi who can ensure that better than him. So why can't he offer his support? It is just a pity that we have built this kind of society. A society where people don't understand what legacy means. Imagine a 70-year-old man, 77, I think, getting to 80-year-old Atiku does not understand what legacy means. He does not understand that at a point in life you step back for younger people to lead. So when is this man going to understand that? You see a Tinubu who is about 96 years old. You don't know that at this point, why am I even saying 96? About 106. At this point, you should sit back for younger people to lead. I remember when they said your son Oshibajo is contesting for president. He said he does not have a son that is old enough to contest for president. So at what age? Look at the man in Burkina Faso. He's just 37 years old. He is making history. Right here in this country, Yakubu Gowon was less than 33 years old when he took over. So why are people that are 80 years old still vying for positions in Nigeria? Meanwhile, retirement age for a civil servant in this country is 60 years old. When you are 60 years old as a civil servant, you are expected to retire. They say you can no longer do civil service work at 60. But the president of Nigeria, the one who does all the civil service work combined, all the military work combined, all the immigration work combined, all the paramilitary work combined, at 94 years old, he's still saying they should vote for him for 2027. This is a disaster. And who are the people that suffer all this? It is you and I. It is the masses. And this is why I keep saying that Nigerians, if we desire to still have a country in the near future, one that we can be proud of, then we must come together, keep our sentiments aside, and get the APC out of power. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news. We will not go like. Why? Because now because of now I day here. So don't go away. Don't go away.